Greetings, everyone. Before I start this rant, here's a warning. If you don't want a trip down memory lane to this cursed year, then please watch something else. Okay, with that said, today I will rant on the year 2020. If you disagree with my opinion, then you know the drill. Alright then, let's get into the rant. My god, looking back over 3 years after the year ended, I can still say that 2020 was a huge waste of time and a chaotic year. It basically ruined like half of my time in Europe, and it made a lot of people fear that they might die during that year. You know the cause, you know why. Say it with me. It's because of the big pandemic. Back in like January of that year, I and probably many of you people had heard that some strange virus was going around in China, and at first, I thought it was no big deal and it will go away. Man, I couldn't be more wrong. By the time March rolled around, this thing was everywhere and more people were getting sick from it. Early into the month, staff in my school told everyone to follow the guidelines to stay safe from that virus, such as washing hands, sanitizing computers, and keeping a certain distance. At this point, I was almost certain that I won't be in school for much longer, and I was right. March 15th or so, they announced that there won't be school and that we would be remote for the time being. I don't mind online school, but that virus was causing a lot more than that. Basically, not only schools across the globe were closed, but restaurants, attractions, retail stores, theme parks, and so much more. Governments around Europe and ultimately around the world told everyone to stay at home. And that's what I did for the next month or so. Instead of going around and exploring Europe, I was stuck at home doing online school. It was not the greatest time ever. All of that was the case up until like May, when it got warmer outside. But even then, I would still just bike around the neighborhood and avoid crowds so I wouldn't get sick. Also, around that time, many places around the world started to reopen back up, but they were enforcing new rules such as wearing a mask, washing hands, and keeping distance. I was lucky enough to eat at a restaurant during June and travel to different countries during July and August. But I could remember keeping my distance away from crowds. But for some of you viewers, you might be still stuck at home with nothing to do during that time. Going into the summer, other really terrible things went on, like climate change, explosions, and most of all, the Black Lives Matter protests following the death of George Floyd. Those topics that were going around in the news just made me feel hopeless and that the world might be going downhill soon. Then autumn came, and it was back to school. For me, my school, which was located in Germany, was fortunate enough to be able to reopen, but for a lot of you viewers who lived in the United States, you had to still do online school since the virus was killing people left and right there. But even so, I had to still keep myself safe from the virus by following protocols. As the autumn progresses into winter, the virus was spreading like wildfire again. My school closed down around Halloween due to it, and I had to get tested. Let me tell you, I don't like getting some stick up my nose, and some of you viewers could agree with me. Germany, the area I was in during 2020, had to reimpose restrictions during December due to that virus becoming rampant again, and I had to go remote again. I then spent the rest of the year at home, ready to go into 2021 since I was bored out of my mind of how I couldn't go out and explore Europe that much during the year. And that was my 2020 in a nutshell. It's overall my second least favorite year in my life so far, only above 2022. Looking back at the year, I can say that the year ruined like half of my time in Europe, because right after 2021, I had to move back to the United States where I am now. But fortunately, later this year, I will move back to Europe. Please note that the new location will be at or around a United States military base. And please note that I am an American and mostly only speak English. Okay, that's enough of that. I really hope I won't have to go through another year like that again. End of rant.